So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, as usual, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper. We will go through 3-4 important articles and we will be giving passing reference to the remaining ones. So let's start with the discussion. We will start with the practice question and then we will be moving to the facts of the day. Okay. Then know our constitution section. Here we will be talking about the, you can say, next part. We were discussing part 13, I guess. So we will be moving forward now. Then important articles if we talk about. So UK gives Chagos Island to the Mauritius. Okay, so recently there was this agreement which has happened between the UK and Mauritius government. Okay, India had played some part into it. We don't know the details of it, but yes, there was this particular indication that India has played some part into it. Then classical tag for Pali and others. Okay, so there are certain languages which has been given the classical language tag. Okay, so we will be talking about that. Earlier we had six classical languages and now we have added few more. Okay, I guess 5 languages has been selected this time. Okay, moving further, ending caste bias in prisons. When we talk about the administrations of the prison or the provisions related to the management of the prisons, so there are certain you can say provisions which are indicating that there is some kind of caste bias which is present in the old provisions. Okay, so Supreme Court here has intervened and they have actually said that you have to go for the change or the reforms in these such provisions which are having this caste related bias. Okay, so we will be discussing all these articles and then we will be moving to the next part, that is for your own read. There will be one article today. Okay, in the end there will be a practice question. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. First, we will be looking at the practice question which was given to you. What is the primary role of Monetary Policy Committee, that is MPC, regulate fiscal policies? Now, when we talk about the fiscal policies, that is the prerogative of the government, okay, and not the, you can say, Reserve Bank. Okay, when we talk about the money policies, we have one, that is fiscal policy, and when we talk about fiscal policy, that is under government or that is for government to decide, that is budget, etc. Okay, and then comes the second one, that is the monetary policy. And when we talk about monetary policy, this is prerogative of RBI. Okay, Reserve Bank of India will be deciding on the monetary policy. Second is control inflation and the manage interest rate. We can keep that as an option. Supervise banks and financial institution. Okay, so this is the function of basically Reserve Bank of India and not particularly of the Monetary Policy Committee. Okay, so that is rejected. Now formulate tax policies. Now when we talk about the tax policies, this is again part of your fiscal policies. Okay, so this is prerogative of the government and not RBI. So option B would be your right answer, that is control inflation and manage interest rates. Okay, so here they will be managing interest rate through repo rates. Okay, now let's move further. So we are having this GS Foundation course at different centers. It is starting in at our Lucknow batch, that is 16th of October. Prayagraj admissions are open. Then when we talk about Jaipur, it is commencing on 7th of October and Karol Bagh 17th of October. Okay, so if you are interested, you can directly visit the center and get yourself enrolled, or you can call on this number for any kind of query, that is 8010440440. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now let's move further and see the facts of the day. Okay, Ken-Betwa River Link Project. It is the first project under the National Perspective Plan for interlinking rivers. Okay, now we have a very big and aspirational plan with respect to the interlinking of the river, and the idea behind here is that we will try to take water from the surplus rivers and then we'll be sending it to the water where sending it to the rivers which are deficit in the water, which are having deficit in the water. So basically we are trying to make sure that there is a optimum, you can say, distribution of the water resources. For that we are having this project, that is Ken-Betwa River Link Project, which is there in Madhya Pradesh and UP. Okay, so when we talk about, mostly it is, you can say, in the Madhya Pradesh, and some parts of because of this particular project, some part of UP will also be benefited. Okay, so Ken-Betwa river linking project involves transferring water from Ken River in Madhya Pradesh to Betwa River in Uttar Pradesh, both of which are tributaries of Yamuna River. Okay, so basically from Ken we are sending water to Betwa. Ken is in Madhya Pradesh and Betwa is in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, and here you will be seeing when we talk about the, you can say, locations over here. So this particular river which you are seeing over here, that is basically your river which is Cain, and then here we are having, sorry, this is Betwa river and this is the Cain river. Okay, so we are having this particular linking project which is there, and we are trying to send water from the Cain to Betwa river, and here you can see we are having this Panna tiger reserve over here. So this particular project had one concern, that it is passing through the Panna tiger reserve. Okay, so there was a concern related to that. Okay, so that is basically your Panna tiger reserve. So please remember this tiger reserve because that can be asked. Okay, and this is your Cain river, this is Betwa river, and this is the river link project from in which they are basically trying to take the surplus water of one river and transferring it to the river deficit where they are having in the UP. Okay, so that is about the Cain Betwa river linking project. One thing which you can remember over here is that basically your Panna tiger reserve, okay, which is coming in the way, so that is there. Now let's move further and start with the constitution discussion. Here we have discussed all these things: finance, property, trade, commerce, and now comes next part, that is part 14. Now this part is talking about services under the union and the states. Okay, so we are trying to understand, we will be understanding 2-3 article we will be taking, 308 to 323. These are the article which are there in the part 14. For us, article 312 will be important. Okay, so let's see. Services under center and the state, article 308 to 323. Article 312, that is the all India service related article. When we talk about the Indian administrative service, Indian forest service, or when we talk about in police service, these are the all India services which are having right now. Okay, now when we talk about the all India services, there are a particular provision under which these services are formed. In India we are having 3 currently. Okay, and if you have to form new, there is a particular, you can say, procedure which has to be followed and which is given in the constitution. Okay, we will be talking about that. Then article 315, public service commissions for the union and for the states. Now they are talking about the UPSC and state PCS or PSCs. Okay, so that is there. For that, okay, when we will be talking about the constitutional bodies, then we will be talking about these 2 things. Okay, and then here you can say function of the public service commission, which we will be seeing at that point of time. Okay, other than that, one more thing is there, that is joint public service commissions are also there. If there is a state, or let's say 1 or 2 states which are coming together and asking the parliament to constitute a joint public service commission for that, so parliament can do that as well. Okay, now coming to the article 312. Okay, so here you can say article 312 of the which actually authorized the parliament to create a new service, but for that one special power has been given to the Rajya Sabha. Okay, the parliament is allowed to create all India services common to union and the states if Rajya Sabha passes a requisite resolution. Okay, so for the creation of all India services or a new all India service, Rajya Sabha will initiate the process. Rajya Sabha will, you can say, come up with a resolution in this regard. Okay, and then only parliament can go for making an all India service, or you can say establishing an all India service. Okay, so I hope that is clear. In India we are having 3 services which are considered as all India services, that is Indian administrative services, then Indian forest service, and the Indian police service. Okay, again, foreign services, okay, foreign services are not all India services, so please remember that. So that is about your services and article 312. This article is quite important. Please remember that Rajya Sabha has special power in regard to the creation of new all India services. Okay, now moving further and starting with the today's discussion here. So here you can say UK cedes Chagos Islands sovereignty to Mauritius, keeps base, India hails the deal. Okay, so now here you can see there is this particular you can say area when we talk about the Indian Ocean region over here. So here this is Madagascar, this is African continent, this is Madagascar, and in the vicinity of Madagascar here we have Mauritius. Okay, now when we talk about Mauritius, Mauritius is an island nation. Okay, now there was a dispute between UK and Mauritius with respect to the Chagos Island, which is somewhere over here. Okay, now the dispute was related to sovereignty, or you can say Mauritius claimed that Chagos Islands is part of Mauritius, and UK said that we did not cede it to you when they actually left the colony. Okay, so at that, because of which there was this conflict which was there, they have gone to the international courts as well, and then there was this you can say order by the court that UK should actually give this territory to Mauritius. Okay, then it could not happen for a while. But recently, with respect to the strategic location, that is Diego Garcia, which is there in the vicinity, that is basically US military base which is there, sorry, US air base is there. Okay, so considering that the strategic location, and UK has also made an agreement to make a base at Diego Garcia. So basically that is why they have given the Chagos Island to Mauritius, and they have taken a permanent base over here. Okay, so that is there. Now let's see what has happened. Okay, Britain on Thursday agreed to cede sovereignty of Chagos Island, an archipelago of over 60 islands in Indian Ocean, to Mauritius in a deal to secure the future of the strategically important UK-US military base on Diego Garcia. Okay, as I told you, to secure that particular military base, they have decided to cede this territory to, you can say, Mauritius. Okay, so please remember the name of the islands. This can be important. This can be asked. Okay, this is the largest in the chain of island. When we talk about the archipelago, Diego Garcia is the largest island. Okay. Next, moving further, for the first time in over 50 years, the status of the base will be undisputed, legally secure. Okay, undisputed and legally secure, because now it is an agreement between two countries which has decided to make a peace with this particular conflict over here. Political agreement between UK and Mauritius, a British government statement said this particular point. Now here you can say India welcomed the agreement and saying it completes the decolonization of Mauritius. Okay, we ourselves being a colony, we know that what kind of stigma which are attached to this kind of processes. So basically now Mauritius is free, and Mauritius actually was free, but the thing is, this particular island, when we are talking about the Chagos Island, now that has been seceded to Mauritius and the process of decolonization has ended. That is what India has said with respect to this deal. India played a quiet but important role in the background. It firmly backed the principled Mauritius position, supporting the stance on the need to do away with the last legacies of the colonialization. So basically they are saying that we have always supported Mauritius on this particular point, because obviously, as I told you, we are against colonization. So that is why we have supported Mauritius position with respect to this particular point, and we have welcomed this agreement this time. Okay, now there was this explained section which was given on this particular article only, so we will try to go through important points. Here you can see that is talking about the agreement which we have already seen. In the exchange of the military base at the Diego Garcia, they have gave up the sovereignty of the Chagos Island to Mauritius. Okay, now when we talk about the archipelago and the location, so this is roughly 500 kilometers south of the Maldives. Okay, now when we talk about the Lakshadweep, etc., and we have Maldives over here. You see, this is Lakshadweep, which is you can say off the Kerala coast. Then we have Maldives over here, and you can say in the south of Maldives we have this Chagos Island. Okay, and somewhere over here they will have the Mauritius. Okay, in the vicinity of, you can say, African continent. Now it is an uninhabited until 18th century. What has happened actually over here is that this particular island was there was no human settlement which was there. Ultimately in 18th century, France has actually bought some slaves from India and Africa over here for the plantations. Okay, so for the coconut plantation, so France has bought them over here, and afterward I guess in 1814 they have given up this territory to Britishers. Okay, so they have given up this territory to Britishers, and after that for a while Britishers held this territory, and in 1965 the UK constituted an British Indian Ocean Territory. Okay, British Indian Ocean Territory. In this particular map, if you can see, I guess see, this is somewhere over here. This is basically your British Indian Ocean Territory. Okay, and it includes the Chagos archipelago over here. Okay, so and when we talk about this particular area, Mauritius is over here, and you know that Mauritius was also part of the or you can say Mauritius was also a colony of Britain. Now coming to the article again here, in 1965 the UK constituted the British Indian Ocean Territory, of which Chagos Islands were central part. Chagos was attached to Mauritius, another British colony in Indian Ocean, for the administration purpose. Okay, here you can see Chagos was attached to Mauritius. Okay, the administration was done from here, so that is why there was this confusion when we talk about the sovereignty belongs to which country. So that was there. So this was attached to Mauritius for administrative purpose. When the Mauritius gained independence in 1968, at that point of time, Chagos remained with the Britain. Okay, so now Mauritius' concern was that since we got the independence, and now this particular territory was under our administration, so that should be belonging to us. But Britain said that no, we did not give up this particular territory. Okay, now strategic military base, if we talk about, so here why this agreement has happened. Okay, why is that now after so many years they are giving this territory to the Mauritius? So that is because of the another island, as I told you, that Diego Garcia, that is a military base and that is strategic. Okay, from that particular location you can have a control of, you can say, Indian Ocean region. Okay, they will monitor the Indian Ocean region. And why they want to monitor the Indian Ocean region? Because China is having more and more influence in this particular area. Okay, so for that they wanted their military presence over here. So USA and UK both will be having bases over here at Diego Garcia. Okay, so let's see, behind the Britain retaining the sovereignty over the Chagos Island was the strategic location. In 1966, Britain signed an agreement with US which made BIOT, that is British Indian Ocean Territory, available for two countries for the defense needs. Okay, so this particular British Indian Ocean Territory, that is there for UK, and they have signed an agreement with the USA that they can also use this particular area. Then moving further, here you can see the land was acquired in 1967, and 4 years later plantation on Diego Garcia, the largest in the archipelago, was shut down. Okay, the coconut plantation was shut down, and after that here you can see there was this another ordinance which was there, immigration ordinance, which made it unlawful for any person to enter into this area without permission. Okay, so they have gone for the ordinance as well. They have restricted the entry of people in this area, enabled the removal of all those who remained on the island. Now since they have gone for the immigration ordinance, they have removed the people from this particular area. So nearly 2000 civilians were actually kicked out of this particular area. Okay, now an issue that has been central to the dispute between UK and Mauritius. Okay, now Diego Garcia became a fully operational military base in 1986. Okay, thanks to its vital location. Now when we consider today's situation, okay, when we see that Middle East is having chaos, when we see that China is rising in this particular area, now we can understand what is the importance of this particular region and what is the importance of USA and UK being in this particular region. Okay, so here you can see, thanks to its vital location, that has been given in a particular, you can say, political science related, foreign policy related magazine. Okay, so foreign policy magazine is there. Thanks to its vital location, the island houses a military base that serves a critical node for American air operations during the Gulf War and the war in Iraq, Afghanistan. Post 9/11, it has also been allegedly used for the detention center by the USA secret agency, that is CIA. So basically USA is using this particular area for different purposes. When we talk about the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war, and when we talk about 9/11 issues, for all these things this base was being used. Okay, moving further, ongoing tension in the West Asia right now, maintaining a presence in the Indian Ocean region is critical for USA's interest. Okay, now USA want to be in this particular area, and for that he required this particular base. So that is why it is strategically important for USA. Now here you can say American and outpost to monitor Malacca Strait as well. Now Malacca Strait is a choke point. You must know that the Malacca Strait is the, when we talk about the Indonesian archipelago and the region of Malaysia and Singapore, from which there is this Malacca Strait is passing, and Malacca Strait is housing you can say a lot of trade. Or when we talk about the China's trade, most of the trade of China is passing through this particular region. All of China's oil trade is passing through this particular region. So that is why for China it is important, and it is important for USA, India to make sure that this particular area is always monitored. Okay, so that is why they want to be in the vicinity of Malacca Strait as well. So the outpost to monitor the Malacca Strait, a choke point for the world trade, that is specially vital to China. Okay. Now treaty significance, if we talk about, so they have given the sovereignty to the you can say Mauritius. Mauritius has long claimed that the UK illegally occupies the Chagos Island. Okay, Now they have gone to the international fora. In 2017, the United Nations General Assembly voted to ask International Court of Justice to examine the legal status of Chagos Island. Now, International Court of Justice, what they said that it belongs to Mauritius. UNGA adopted a resolution welcoming ICJ's advisory opinion demanding that the United Kingdom unconditionally withdraw its colonial administration from the area within 6 months. Okay, so that particular kind of you can say opinion was set up in 2017 by the international community. Then detachment of the Chagos archipelago in 1965 from Mauritius was not based on a free and genuine expression of the people's concern. Now what they are saying is that when you have detached the earlier you have attached that this particular island will be attached to Mauritius for the administrative purpose. Then you have detached it when you are giving independence to the you can say Mauritius. That decision was not taken on the basis of the people's consent there, and that is why you have to vacate this particular area. Okay. So that is the you can say treaty significant with respect to the international opinion. Okay, here you can say the agreement between UK and Mauritius strike a balance. Mauritius is now free to implement a program of resettlement on the island of the Chagos archipelago other than the Diego Garcia. Now this island Diego Garcia, that is excluded out of it. So here you can say the UK has promised to create a new trust fund for the benefits of the Chagosians. Okay. Agreement between the agreement allows the Diego Garcia base to remain operational for initial period of 99 years. UK will continue to exercise sovereign rights over this island. Okay, so basically right now Diego Garcia is the island which is under the UK sovereignty. Okay, so this is about this. The broader implication, if you talk about, if left unresolved, the issue could drive countries such as Mauritius to seek you can say redress from the China. So now the thing is, if USA and UK is not resolving this particular issue, then there are chances that Mauritius might go to China. Okay, and that is what is happening in the you can say right now when we talk about this particular area in the Indian Ocean region. Most of the countries are looking towards China for some kind of help, be it economic or be it some kind of, let's say when we talk about Maldives needed economic help and they look towards China. When we talk about Sri Lanka also needed to cope up with the economic crisis which is going on in their own country. That is why they have looked towards China earlier. Okay, so these are the things. If we did not, or you can say Mauritius issue was not resolved by the UK, then there might be a chance that they would have resolved towards the China. Okay. Now formerly colonized by the Britain, India has maintained steadfast support for the Mauritius claims over the Chagos Island. It voted in favor of island country. India has attempted to deepen its ties with Mauritius amidst China's ever increasing assertiveness in the Indian Ocean region. So basically there is this another you can say island which is the Agalega island is there, where we have gone for building an airstrip and a jetty. Okay, a airstrip and a jetty which has been built by India in this particular place, that is Agalega island. Here you can see, I guess it might be there. Okay, so this is Agalega island. This is also you can say under the sovereignty of Mauritius. So if you look at this particular you can say picture over here, you know that we have Cochin, we have Minicoy, then Maldives is there, then here we have Chagos archipelago, Diego Garcia, British Indian Ocean territory. Here you can go if you talk about, this is Agalega, and coming to this part over here, that is basically your Mauritius. Okay, then we have this Reunion Island. These are some important islands in this particular area, so you remember that. Madagascar, you know that. Comoros, please remember the name of this. Seychelles. So these are certain important you can say islands in this particular area, so please remember that. Now we can move further to the next article. Classical tag for Pali, Prakrit, Marathi, Bengali and Assamese. So these are the 5 languages they have chosen this time. Okay, and these languages will be getting a tag that is of classical language. Okay, Union Cabinet on Thursday approved a decade-old proposal to accord classical languages status to Marathi. Along with that, they have gone for the Pali, Prakrit, Assamese, Bengalis as classical language. Okay. Now, classical languages serve as a custodian of India's heritage and embodies the you can say essence of the community's history and the cultural practices. So, obviously, if we talk about the language, language is the important part of your identity as well as the culture. Okay, so if you are going for the preservation of the language, that means that you are preserving your heritage. So, that is there. So, with respect to that, we have come up with the idea of classical text. Now, moving further, here you can see the official says even as the primary state involved are Maharashtra. For Marathi, Maharashtra is there. Then for you can say when we talk about the Pali and Prakrit, so you know that these are the languages which are related to the you can say Buddhism and Jainism. So here you can see Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are the areas wherein Pali and Prakrit was there. Then West Bengal for Bengali, Assamese for Assam. Okay, so these are the languages. Here you can see Marathi in Maharashtra, Pali, Prakrit in UP, Bihar and MP, Assamese in Assam, Bengali in Bengal. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now moving further, in October 2004, the center created a new category, that is classical languages, with Tamil being the first to be declared one. Okay, so in 2004, October 2004 was the time when they have initiated this particular new category, that is classical languages, and they have started with the Tamil as the first classical languages which was added to this particular group. Later on there was this other languages which has been included over here. So here you can see in 2005 Sanskrit was added, and then Telugu, Kannada they were added in 2008, then Malayalam, Odia in 2013 and 14 respectively. Okay, so right now what languages we are having? So here you can see we have Tamil, then we have Sanskrit, then we have Malayalam, then we have Kannada, Telugu and Odia. Okay, so these are the languages which are there till now. Okay, 6 languages are there, and now they have added 5 more. Total 11 languages are there. Okay, now coming to the preservation of classical languages in India. India has a rich linguistic heritage with several ancient languages designated as the classical by the government. These are the 6 which are already been you can say talked about. This recognition aims to preserve and promote these languages, ensuring their continued relevance in the modern time, because most of the time you will be seeing that we are forgetting these languages because there is not much work which has been done. So what are the criteria for a language to be a classical language? So there are some criteria which are given. Historical longevity. Okay, now when we talk about the historical longevity, so here you can say a classical language must have a history of at least 1500 to 2000 years. Okay, so that is there as evidence in the early text. So that is one thing. Second, here you can say esteem you can say literary traditions. Okay, so there should be a literary tradition with respect to that particular language. The language must possess a body of ancient literature that is highly regarded as the cultural heritage. Okay, so that is second thing. Third, originality of the tradition, that particular language or the things which are there, or the you can say important aspects of the language should not be borrowed. Okay, that should be original in nature. So that is the third one. Fourth is the distinct from the modern form. Right now whatever languages which we are using, it should be distinct from that, and that is why it is called a classical language. Okay, so these are the 4 you can say criterias are there. Coming to the benefits of the classical languages status, if it is given to a particular language. So here you can say academic support. The Ministry of Education provides 2 major international awards annually for scholars of the language. Okay, so that is one kind of support you can say which is given by the academic community. A Center of Excellence for Studies is established to promote the classical languages. Institutional backing, if we talk about, so University Grant Commission is requested to create a dedicated professorship in the center universities, and this helps ensure the language continued research, teaching and the preservation. Okay, so if there is a research, teaching and the you can say in a particular university, or if there is a professorship which has been created, so ultimately it will preserve the language. Okay, so that is what has been the idea behind the status of classical language. Now moving further to the next one, and caste bias in the prisons, says Supreme Court order revision rules in the 3 months. So basically Supreme Court is saying that if there is a provision which is having some kind of caste bias, then you have 3 months within which you have to change these provisions. Okay, so if we talk about certain provisions over here, you can see provision that food shall be cooked by a suitable caste. Now this particular element, that suitable caste, what do you mean by that? Okay, so there is some kind of biasness which can be seen over here. So this reflects the notion of the untouchability. Okay, Moving further, division of work on the basis of caste is a practice of untouchability prohibited under the constitution. Now, if you are going for the division of work, when we talk about prison, there are works which has been, you can say, divided among the people. Okay, so if there is this work, or let's say if there is a cleaning related work that has been attached with a particular caste, that means you are creating a stereotype, you are creating you can say discrimination among the people over here. So that is why that is also you can say a provision which is creating a bias against the caste. Okay, then caste column and any reference to caste in prisoners register, or you can say shall be deleted. If there is a, when we talk about the entries, okay, so if there is a register which is maintaining the entry, some kind of like name, age, place from where he is coming, and the caste. So this column, caste column, is creating you can say discrimination. So that is why that should be removed. That is what Supreme Court is saying. Then district legal service authorities and the board of visitors formed under the model prison manual 2016 and to jointly conduct regular inspections to identify if caste based discrimination is taking place or not. Okay, so basically you can say legal services authority, district legal services authority, and the board of visitors which are there for the visits, etc. So they have to see whether there is any kind of, you can say, discrimination which is going on or not. Okay, coming to the article here, Supreme Court directed the union government and the states to ensure end to end caste based discrimination in the prison, stating that the right to live with dignity extends to even to the, you can say, prisoners as well. Okay, so one, you can say, right to life and personal liberty. So personal liberty, so obviously we cannot provide that because they have committed a crime. So right to life with dignity. So that is one thing. Again here you can say article 14 and 15, that is talking about the equality. Okay, article 15 is talking about the equality, and when we talk about the article 17, that is talking about, you can say, removal of untouchability. These are also the articles which are being violated if you are going for any kind of caste based discrimination. Other than that, when we talk about the, you can say, here when we are talking about the division of work over here, okay, and if a particular kind of work is attached to a particular person, in that case you can say there is a exploitation which is happening. Okay, so in that regard you will be saying that article 23, that is against the exploitation, that is also being violated over here. Okay, so these are certain things which has been you can say talked about in this article. We have already seen these articles which are getting affected, that is one thing. Other than that, we have seen article 21, how article 21 is being hindered. Okay, so that is also there. Now here you can say to remove the rules in the prisoner manuals that perpetuate the caste discrimination and directed the union government to introduce a provision prohibiting such bias in the Model Prison Act 2023. Okay, now timeline is given, that is, you can say, 3 months. Caste based discrimination continues to persist in the prisons in the range of areas: division of manual labor, segregation of barracks, provisions that discriminate against the habitual offenders and the prisoners from the denotified tribes. Okay, so that is the kind of areas where you can see this kind of discrimination is, you can say, seen. Now provision under challenge, if you talk about the they are unconstitutional because they are violating the, you can say, article 21, article 15, article 17, article 23. So that is why Supreme Court has said that you have to go for the revision in that. Here you can see the top court said not providing dignity to prisoners is a relic of colonizer and the pre-colonial mechanism where oppressive systems were designed to dehumanize and degrade those under the control of the state. So here they are saying that earlier when there was these prisons, okay, so there they used to go for the inhuman practices, etc. Okay, or dehumanizing the people which are living over here. Now we are living in a democracy. We are not living in a colony or any pre-colonial systems, etc. We are living in a democracy, so that should not be the case. Police officers and the prisoner officers cannot take any disproportionate measures against prisoners. The prison system must be considerate of the physical and the mental health of the prisoners. Okay, so that is the stand of Supreme Court with respect to the, you can say, provisions in the prison. So ultimately they have given 3 months to the state government as well as the central government to go for the revision in the provision which are against the, you can say, dignity of a human which are living inside the prisons. Okay, so that is about this article. Moving further, for the passing reference, you can see Bangladesh, Nepal and India signed a pact to facilitate the cross border power trade. Okay, so ultimately Nepal is the, if Nepal is generating a surplus power and they want to send it to Bangladesh, they can send it through the Indian territory. Okay, so Nepal can use our grids which are there, or the transmission lines which are there, to transfer the energy from Nepal via India to Bangladesh. Okay, so earlier we were expecting this you can say agreement long back, but they have finally signed it. So that is there. From where it will be happening, the electricity will be exported to Bangladesh via the Dhal ke Bar Muzaffarpur 400 kV transmission line. Okay, so and the metering point will be in the Muzaffarpur. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, UK, Russia send special flights to put citizens out of the Lebanon. So you know that Israel has entered into Lebanon, and there are these offenses which are being happening over here, or you can say, now when we are talking about this particular area, they have entered via land route, and now they are telling the, you can say, the citizens of Lebanon to move further in the north. Okay, so that is there. And similarly this has happened in Gaza as well. So you know that what is happening in the region is a collective genocide, says the Qatar's Amir. Okay, so you can remember these things, not important though. Anyways, next is Jaishankar to meet new Lanka president today. Okay, so you know that recently there was this presidential elections which has happened in Sri Lanka. So Dishanayake, that is Anura Kumara Dishanayake, he has become the president, and he has said that he wants to have cordial relations with both China as well as India. Other than that, when we are talking about this particular meeting will decide what will be the future course of action, what kind of you can say inclination the new president has. Here you can say, meet with the country's new leadership led by President Anura Kumara Dishanayake. Okay, and we are keeping in mind neighborhood first policy and Sagar outlook. Now this is your homework to go and read about these policies, because that is important. Now they might not go for direct questions over that, but you can mention these you can say key terms in the answer writings. Okay, now shared commitment of two countries to further deepen the long standing partnership for the mutual benefit. Now Jaishankar's visit is expected to review the ties between the two countries and look at the future prospects under the new leadership in Colombo. Disanaike's plan on the Indian investments, view on the regional security, his approach towards the Tamil minority rights, etc. This will be discussed in these particular meetings. Okay. Now here you can say Disanaike has said that he is not opposed to India, and that it came to Sri Lanka's aid during 2022 crisis. Unlike China, India has been a willing partner to its debt restructuring. Okay, so they know that because of China, they have at the first place they have gotten into this economic situation because of the debt, etc. The new Sri Lankan leadership is also aware of the India's concern regarding the China, especially over the movement of the Chinese vessels in the area. Okay, so this kind of statement which has been made by him, that's that is kind of a positive indication. Okay, so that is about the you can say this article. Now for your own reads, there is this article, inevitable why North Bihar sees flood every year. So this article has already been discussed in focus. So you can go and watch that video, or you can give it a read to this particular article. Okay. Now moving further for the last part, that is practice question. Which was the first language to be recognized as the classical language by the government? Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada or Tamil? We have discussed that. So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.